What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm gonna have some gameplay footage in the background of a match I had quite some time ago. I've had the footage sitting on my computer for ages now. It's not a terribly impressive match in any way, shape or form, and the gameplay footage is not the subject of this video. World of Warships isn't even the subject of this video. This video is going to be kind of a little bit of a rant, if you will, because I am cross. Yeah. This video is about War Thunder. I'm not sure how many of you guys who watch my stuff, who watch my World of Warships stuff, play War Thunder on a regular basis or have played War Thunder. But the other night I decided, I still, out of habit, I still finish off my videos, subscribe for more World of Warships, Armored Warfare, War Thunder. And I actually haven't posted a War Thunder video in a very long time. Now, when I first started my YouTube channel earlier this year, War Thunder was my focus. That's what I was playing. It was before, anyone could get access to the closed beta of World of Warships. And I really enjoyed the game. I think it's my most played game to date. I've sunk nearly 1,000 hours into War Thunder, countless dollars. I got to tier 5, which is the top tier with the American jets. I got the best Saber, I got the best MiG, got some good tanks, the Russians specifically. And I always enjoyed the game, and even after World of Warships came out, I still enjoyed it, I still played it, but I kind of stopped playing it quite as much because I'd kind of done everything that I wanted to do. I wasn't terribly interested in some of the stuff I still had to grind for, and World of Warships was new, it was fresh, it was exciting. But anyways, the other night I decided to go back into War Thunder and have a little play around, because it's been a long time. I'm going to qualify right away and say the aerial combat, the plane side of things, is still as good as it ever was. I played a few rounds in my tier 4 Spitfire British fighter planes, best Spitfires in the game, because tier 5 you go into jets, and yeah, it was good. It was really good. The problem is ground forces. It's the tanks. Now, tanks have always been a bit of a hit and miss for a lot of people, and I certainly understand where they're coming from. No matter what mode you play in, arcade, realistic, or simulation, one-shot kills are the norm. It's very, very normal for you to get killed with one shot or kill an enemy with one shot if you know where to aim. But, I know a lot of people don't like that. What I also liked about it was the fact that everyone was always, their vehicles were always rendered. In arcade, if someone was in your line of sight, they were spotted. If you were in someone else's line of sight, you were spotted. There was none of this view range rubbish that I still kind of think detracts from World of Tanks and Armored Warfare now. Because, I think personally, when you can't see what's in front of you, it promotes camping more than everything being visible. Because especially if you're in a main battle tank or a heavy tank or in World of Tanks or Armored Warfare, and you can't see what's in front of you, you don't want to push because, there could be 5 main battle tanks there with a scout, and you're screwed. But it's not for everyone's taste. But anyways, my most played vehicles were tier 4, specifically the German tier 4s, the Tiger II, love that thing. So that's what I went for. Hopped into an arcade battle, hopped into my tier 4 Germans, my Tiger IIs, and off I went. And lo and behold, the first match I get into is swarming with tier 5 tanks. The mouse IS-4s, T-10Ms, T-54s, Leopards, T-95s, all of this shit, most of which I couldn't even penetrate the side if they were even slightly angled or anything like that. So it was quite horrible the first game. I had pushed into the city, mouse came around the corner, I'm dead. So I quit out, I played some plane games, and then I went back. Second match, again, swarming with tier 5s, and there's a big difference between a tier 4 and a tier 5 in terms of the armor they have, the penetration they have. I think the only tier 5 I could probably deal with from the front would have been the Leopard. But everything else doesn't matter what I try and do. And 2 games in a row is not a big sample size, but it just sucked the life out of me, because these were 2 games I couldn't do anything. And it's not even like my Tiger 2 is maneuverable. So a lot of these tier 5 heavy tanks are just as fast, just as maneuverable as I am. So I can't try and flank or anything like that, and because I'm always spotted, which is normally something I like, you know, you can't, again, you can't try and flank, because if you're in their line of sight, they're gonna see you. And I mean, this just really, really irritated me, because it was a problem at tier 3 as well, because I also enjoyed the tier 3 games a lot. Again, also the Germans, the Tiger 1, the Panther, but I largely stopped playing that because 95% of the games I got into were tier 4 games, and a Tiger 1 cannot do anything against the front of a Tiger 2 or an IS-2, really, and these things will just blow you, you know, to smithereens. So I largely stopped playing that, and I started playing the tier 4s, because yes, I understand you can't always be top tier. I understand that it's sometimes you're going to get up tiered, sometimes you're going to get down tiered, but with those tier 3s, I was never down tiered, I was never same tiered, it was always up tiered for 95% of the games I played. And the Tiger 2s, those were better. And the problem is that War Thunder, you know, the tier system is largely meaningless. Your vehicles, the matchmaker is created by your battle rating, which is a number that they give your vehicle. If you are unfamiliar with how War Thunder does it, it goes from 1 to 9 is the highest, I think, and it's in 0.3 increments. So, well, not quite 0.3, but you know, your reserve tanks are 1.0, then you'll have 1.3, 1.7, 2.0, 2.3, 2.7, 3.0, and so on and so on. And the battle rating of the tanks is what determines what you go up against, and the maximum spread is 1. But it can be like 1.3, because the way it determines it takes your 3 highest battle ranked vehicles and makes an average of them, but you can only lower it by 0.3 from your top battle rating. So if you have a 6.7, you can't, you know, fill the rest of your loadout or your vehicle lineup with 1.0s and get into like a, you know, I don't know, a 3.0 game. You're only going to be able to drop it down maximum by 0.3. So there is 1 to 1.3 battle rating difference between the vehicles you're going to face. And it's a horrible system. It's a horrible system. People have hated it since it came out. And the problem is now with the tanks is they have compressed the battle rating range of the tanks. Tier 5s used to be battle rating of 8 for a lot of them. Now they're down to 7.7, which means that the Tiger 2, for example, that's a 6.7. So the best tanks in the game are 1.0 above you, which means you're pretty much always going to see them. I mean, I just don't understand this, because what they needed was not to compress it, but to stretch it out, to move the, you know, to space the tanks out further. So, for example, maybe a Tiger 1, instead of, because the Tiger 1 is 5.7, which is why you always would see Tiger 2s, because again, it was 1.0 above. instead of having that, because the Tiger 1 has no hope against the Tiger 2, is you need to spread it out. Make it more than 1.0. So that, you know, Tiger 1s would have a chance and you could have fun with them and not face these tier 4 heavy tanks all the time. But instead, they've gone the complete opposite way. And they've compressed it. And I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm really pissed off about this because, you know, I know War Thunder and specifically the tanks, the ground forces, is not for everyone. I know that getting one-shotted is frustrating. But it's part of the game, it's part of what I quite liked about it, because very often, you know, when a tank was hit and penetrated by the round, it was very often over for that tank in real life. If it destroyed your engine, you were immobilized, you wouldn't be able to do anything. If it destroyed your gun or anything related to that, you couldn't just repair it. And I liked that more realistic approach. But now, when I actually finished that little session, I looked at it and I was like, why do I even bother to keep War Thunder installed? Because I don't play it, and after seeing this, I'm not going to play it. Because, just my luck, every tank that I was faced with was always a tier 5. I never ran into any of the tier 4s. It was always finding a tier 5, and you know, there's just nothing you can do about it. Especially in the likes, as I said, of something like a Tiger 2 where you can't even try and get out of there. You're not fast enough, you're not maneuverable enough to try. So, like, basically, I think the only way of enjoying ground forces, now this was in an arcade battle, maybe realistic is better, but my hopes would be pinned on simulation, where you can't just play any tank in simulation. They rotate events, if you will. There'll be a set list of vehicles that you can use, and they rotate those every day, I believe. And in that case, they're not going to put you in a Tiger 2 against tier 5s, I don't think. I don't think they're that stupid. But that's, I think, is the only way to now enjoy it, because if you're just going into random battles, I mean, 2 out of 2 into a heavy tier 5 match is just complete rubbish. And I know it's not a big sample size, but after that I couldn't be bothered to keep playing. And it really actually irritated me, because, you know, I've sunk a lot of time, a lot of money into War Thunder, and I really enjoyed it, and I wish I still enjoyed it, because you know, the tanks were fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially in realistic or simulator game modes where the markers, there are no markers above the enemy vehicles anymore. You had to spot them with your own eyes, and you could make effective use of cover and trees and flanking and all that, because you weren't going to show up on their screen, and the model of your tank would be there, but it would be camouflaged by whatever foliage you were driving through. And I really loved that. And it was still frustrating sometimes when you got spotted and you couldn't see where you were getting shot from, but that was part of it. And it was, again, you do it to other people too, and it was great. And now it's freaking horrible, and I just do not understand, because people have been complaining about this the battle rating system for ages, and they've just gone and it was never good, and they've now just gone and made it worse by, you know, making the spread of the tanks smaller. And I don't get why planes are then immune to it, because, as I said, I took out my top British Spitfires, which, I mean, they're top of tier 4, their battle ratings are 6.3, I think. And they were normal, you know, they were tier 4 games. And the good thing about planes is a plane that's a tier below you is still a threat to you, because his guns will still hurt, and like some of the lower tier Spitfires are better, more maneuverable than the Griffin Spitfire. So they're still a threat, and they can still do something, but when you can't penetrate a tank's armor with your gun, you're useless in that fight. and that's just really irritating. And again, the few games that I played in the Spitfire, no jets, no tier 5s, was all props, and why can't we get the same in tanks? It just, yeah, anyway, it really, really irritated me. And honestly, I don't know why I even have it installed anymore, and I think I will no longer say include War Thunder in my sign out, because I'm just not going to play it. Anyways, that's it for my little rant, my little stuff that I wanted to get off my chest, because it really did piss me off. And then Armored Warfare seriously needs to sort out their matchmaker, because that thing is evil, and played about 10 games tonight. We won 2, the rest were all horrible landslides. A few of them was top of my team. Most of them I was doing more damage than I received. So that also needs to change. So I haven't been a very happy boy today. But anyways, that is it from me. If you enjoyed, thumbs up, subscribe for World of Warships and Armored Warfare. No more War Thunder. But anyways, that is it from me. Thank you guys very much for stopping by. This is Predator458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.